Jem, did you hit the button yet?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
You're misleading the public. You're lying to people.
We are part
Silence is
of a
killing me.
giant
Can we talk?
studio set. All the world's a stage in your mind.
Jesus Christ, and suck my dick. Suck my dick.
Suck my dick, Earth, with that bullshit.
That's only got green screen. Do a green screen. Can you do the car like Riley? Riley space car.
It could be a what's it? It could be an onion ring.
A hairless monkey zipping through the vacuum, or a potato rock.
Yeah, if we dumped what we found right now, we would be, it'd be bad. It would be bad.
You can't have you can't have a flat earth and things making sense.
Whoops. Good evening and welcome to another edition of Jem's Flat Earth Sunday Roast. I'm your host, Jem, and with us this evening, well, let's say, we are back again to slash through the nonsense, cut away the boring bits, and take a good hard stab at understanding the Flat Earth Week. Joining us tonight on our panel, the glint in her eye is like cold steel. It's the ever-lovely Twitwit.
Hi guys, how are you?
And as always, dissecting this week's news is our crime reporter, the intrepid Lewis Slashit.
Wow, thank you very much. Good to be here tonight.
Sharpening his claws in anticipation, our resident ex-flatty, the cat that got the cream, Cat Earth.
Yeah, sorry, I ruined the intro. I forgot what we were doing for a second.
I did say shut up, didn't
Yeah,
I?
I know, sorry. It was good though.
We might do it again in a minute.
It was a good intro, sorry.
Because I also messed up the beginning of it because I was mixed over to the Hangout. And joining us live and direct from the shores of Lake Pontchartrain or somewhere close by is the thorn in the side of Flat Earth, Soundly.
Sounding like the water.
Speak, Soundly.
He's putting the green screen on. He's going to do the Riley car, I'm telling you. That's what
He's
we're
still
waiting
with us, isn't he? And hopefully M. Scott Veach will be with us as well at some point. Good evening, everyone. Good week.
Good week,
Yeah.
Jeff.
A quiet week, actually, in Flat Earth, I think. That was my impression. I was kind of scratching around for material this week a little bit. So, anyway, first thing is that I wanted to talk about is the YouTube announced this week some changes to how they're going to do recommendations. I don't know whether you guys came across this or not.
I have not. First I've heard of it, Jem.
There was a very brief
Mic check.
story on NPR. Hey, Soundly.
Check
Hi,
one, two.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Hello, hello.
Welcome.
Hi, Sally.
Hello.
The brief story on NPR that I heard was they just said YouTube is changing how search results prioritize videos to make conspiracies and that type of video less likely to come up in search results. That's the way. That was basically the whole story, the beginning and end of it from NPR that I heard.
I think they've been doing it already, personally.
Right. Well, let me just read to you from the blog. I mean, basically, they talk about what they do to what they've done in the past to try and improve the way YouTube works and what it recommends. And then they get to this. Hang on, let me just get the right. Yeah, here it says, we'll continue that work this year, including taking a closer look at how we can reduce the spread of content that comes close to, but doesn't quite cross the line of violating our community guidelines. To that end, we'll be reducing recommendations of borderline content and content that could misinform users in harmful ways, such as videos promoting a phony miracle cure for a serious illness, claiming the earth is flat, or making blatantly false claims about historic events like 9/11. So I thought that was very interesting that they mentioned the flatties by name, so to speak. They do get...
Shows how big it's getting, isn't it?
Well,
it's getting bigger.
It's become the go-to brand for being wrong, hasn't it? That's how I see it. It's like, if you want to give an example of something that is just so wrong, no one's going to disagree with it. Flat Earth is what you go for, I think.
I think the Earth's getting flatter every day, Jem. That's what's happening. But I think it's the wrong way to go about things, because, you know, really we shouldn't be censoring people's speech. We should be trying to teach people to think critically. I think would be a smarter move.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I disagree with that, Kat, because we do teach people to think critically in school. And YouTube is a private media platform, so there's no reason for them to not try and appeal to the majority of people on their site, which are not flat earthers and conspiracy people. And another aspect of this is that when somebody searches for 9/11 or the moon or something about medicine, the most common results they're gonna get, based on the way the algorithms work now, are conspiracy theories. So
they could change the algorithm, but I don't think they should silence. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what they're doing, isn't it? They're changing the algorithm.
I think it's important to make that distinction. They do actually mention that further on, that they're not removing the content or banning the content. They're just not. It won't appear in people's recommendations so readily. Is what they're saying. But I think, you know, with something like Flat Earth, when you hear Flat Earthers tell their story, which they all love to do, they often talk about how they, you know, a Mark Sargent video or a Jeranism video was recommended to them, or Eric Dubay, you know, and you know, it was in their recommendations and they just watched it. So I think it may affect the way something like this might spread in future. I mean, the horse has bolted in that regard, I think, as far as Flat Earth is concerned.
Well, I know this is an anecdote, but along those lines, I had the sense that I had been marked by YouTube as a Flat Earth channel. Like I had the sense that the bot had totally misidentified me, just based on anecdotal evidence. And so then this live stream for the eclipse comes up, and I removed all references to Flat Earth, you know, whatsoever. And all of a sudden I have the biggest stream I've ever had on my channel. So I don't know, it's all anecdotal, but it always seemed like to me that this whole arena was kind of being squashed a little bit.
Is that the lunar stream, though? I think you got the views because it was the amazing footage. That it was really, really good.
Yeah.
Like, people love that stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's thousands of views.
Yeah, but I mean, I've had good footage from other things before as well too. But it certainly, I mean, it was because it was live, right, during the event. I mean, that makes sense. But it seems like there's been other times where I've actually did the previous eclipse. You know, it wasn't live at the time, so I don't know. It's all anecdotal, I guess.
I mean, what I would say is, I mean, I definitely use Flat Earth tags for my videos.
Simon Dan said the same thing. He uses Flat Earth tags all the time, and he has 100 and some subscribers.
They'll get me high in the rankings if I mean, I just use a website where you stick, you know, Flat Earth gossip in, for instance, and it dishes out a load of tags for you, and then I just paste them in. But it seems to work. You know, it worked certainly with Children of the Flat Earth, which was one that I really wanted to reach a Flat Earth audience, and
right,
it got right up there. So yeah, it worked really well. What do you reckon, Twit?
Well, not making videos, I don't have that problem with it, with not being seen. So I have to go with what you guys are saying, and I hope it doesn't impact people like Soundly or you, Jem.
Right, I guess that's a problem. Although, I mean, if they're trying to you would hope that they're recommending the, I'm going to say, quality content. I'm talking about you, sadly, not me. So
your series Faking Flat was really good. I wish you'd keep doing that one.
It's very good.
Yes.
Shout out, Shroomy. Sorry. No, you have to. Come on, everyone do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, my thoughts are, I mean, I think it is important to stress, though, that they aren't talking about censorship, because I have already heard Flat Earthers framing it that way, that they're going to be deleting our content, and you know, they specifically say that it's not that, it's just not not being recommended. But the other thing I should say is that YouTube say that they have 200,000 homepage recommendations every day. So this is, I guess, for the entire YouTube audience, because we're all getting different ones. But there are 300,000 videos uploaded every day. So there are already a third of the videos that are uploaded each day don't get recommended anyway. So it may not make much difference to a lot of them anyway, you know. At least a third of them were never going to be recommended. So
yeah, at least probably much more than that.
Well, right, yeah, because those recommendations aren't all new videos as well. I forgot to take that into account. So you know, it's probably an even greater proportion. Anyway, let's move on to the great big fat gossipy news of the week. I'm going to receive some criticism, I think, for this clip. Partly, I guess, for its length, although that won't be the main thing I'm criticised for. But it's a 10-minute clip, I'm afraid, dear audience. I do apologise for this. It was as short as I could get it, and still really tell the story. And it is 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes, I know, but it's 10 minutes of high drama. Let me just remind you, Kat, during this, you have to be quiet.
Oh, I can't do that. 10 minutes, I'll set an alarm.
And I will also tell the audience that because this, well, I'll give you the background. It's Poncho Pete, of course, as you all know, who is visited by his friend Jez. Poncho recently started transvestigating everyone, and I mean everyone, including himself and his mum, and you know, every celebrity you can think of.
Wait, hold on. Himself? What?
Yeah, himself.
Yeah.
He inspected himself in a mirror.
What?
That's
He's
a true.
He's still not sure either.
I don't understand. I don't understand. How do you not know if you're a guy or not?
Well, part of the transvestigation idea currently is that people are being changed in before they're born.
No, it's not before they're born.
What's the phrase I'm looking for?
They're getting trannied when they're born.
Yeah,
right?
in the hospital. Yeah.
Yeah, and then what happens is, because you, like, the younger you do it, the more convincing it is, right? So
correct me if I'm wrong.
You're just getting trannied, basically.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you can't just. I mean, doctors can't just create a functioning.
Yeah, they can.
No, they can't.
You need to get up with the trans people.
No, they can't.
Apparently. Sounds like you're afraid of.
In Conspiratardia, they can do anything. Don't forget, they aren't actually. You know, there aren't doctors wasting their time curing cancer, because all they have to do is give people orange juice. So.
Oh yeah. Here I am trying to speak reason into irrationality. Never mind. Forget that.
How to trans people. But anyway, so his Poncho's ex-friend Jez, because Poncho has dumped everyone from his channel because he's transvestigated them. Poncho's ex-friend Jez goes round to see him, so he's in the background quite a bit. So you may need to, I don't know, hold your headphones to your ears or turn your volume up. After all that preamble, let's play the bloody great big clip. Where is it?
Okay, I'm going to mute up. Let's go.
Right, it's simple. If A man's got curve to his back is a woman. If his hips are wider as his shoulders, it's a woman.
Yeah, but I'm a big bloke though, Ponch.
It doesn't matter.
Do you know what I mean?
Tyson Fury's a big girl. There you go.
Where's he a girl?
What, do we have to bring up the pictures, do we?
I've always seen him, but how was he a girl?
He is a girl. They're all girls.
So when did he have his sex change?
Right, well, let's just show you then, shall we, Mongo? One last time. I'll do it one more time. See Melanie's picture? See how she's oval shaped?
But you got it wrong.
Only because I've looked at that, mate. I've never seen a real woman, that's why.
But you got it wrong.
45 years looking at men.
Why are you raising your voice?
Because you're a fucking idiot.
Why call me an idiot?
Because you are.
Am I calling you an idiot?
Well, you're an idiot. It's between me and God, my relationship with God. Prove all things.
You've left this fucking show on so you can turn it into a freak show.
I told you not to come round here.
But I come.
Right.
Because I come and face people.
And face me for what? And to tell me you're not going to do fuck all, you're not going to research? Get to fuck, Jez.
I'm just sat here talking to you.
There's nothing to talk about.
But it's alright you call me a woman.
Prove all things, Jez.
It's alright you call me a woman.
Prove all things. Drop your pants.
And be gay.
You sound like you're diverting.
I think that's a bit...
Drop your pants.
At the end of the day, we've had some good laughs, Pete.
I'm not here for laughs anymore.
We've had some good times, we've had some good information.
No, we had bollocks. Bollocks for 5 years, all an act, all a script, and you're part of it.
A part of what?
Of the fucking act, the show.
What show?
The show we're in.
But at the end of the day, we've got to get on with our lives. We can look into things and do things, but just don't really control it. And that's what I'm saying at the minute. Control.
Bullshit.
Yes.
Bullshit. You lot controlled that channel. Scottish Eddie, Yellow Submarine, did you know him?
No.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's a woman.
Well, he knew me, didn't he?
He's a woman.
I'm not interested.
Well, no, we are interested because I'm proving all things.
You're not proving anything.
Right, well, off you go then.
I come to speak to you as me.
No, a liar.
Why am I lying?
Because you're not interested in all things.
Like what?
Prove all things.
Like what?
That they're men and women. That this ain't a fucking act. Not one of them.
Where?
Not one of them came to the channel.
Because you blocked them all.
Yeah, because they were liars.
So how can they come to the channel and
right.
It and talk to you?
Because they would have done the research, they'd have done bodies and faces, and they'd be able to decide.
If they can't cut...
I took fucking nearly 1 hour last night deciding over Mel.
But you got Mel wrong, then you got Mel...
No, I got Mel wrong because there's no fucking women left. Is that real?
What?
That. Why has he got an head like Beetlejuice shrunk his fucking head?
Well, that's The Rock.
Right, but what? That's a woman.
But he's on steroids.
No, that's a woman.
Where?
Right there. Look at his tiny little oval-shaped face.
I've got a tiny head.
No, you haven't.
I have?
No, you haven't.
I've got a little head.
No, well, if you have, you're a woman.
So I'm a woman now?
Well, I don't know.
I'm a man or
I haven't seen you.
Am I a man or
I haven't seen you. Prove all things.
Well, you can prove it to me.
I don't need to prove it. I've got Jesus with me.
It's a big wide world out there, mate.
Full of liars, yeah.
It might be.
It's not a world.
But you still have to mingle with it.
It's a creation that's been poisoned.
But you're going to be sat here for another 20, 30 years.
I don't care. You think that's a fucking bloke.
A rock?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a man.
It's a woman. Tiny, tiny little female skull on a massive body.
Well, that's your opinion.
No, it's not. It's a fucking fact.
Well,
medical fucking facts, Jez. Let's bring up the human skull, Mongo. Human skull. Male, female. Because you've done fuck all in 10 days, you're a wanker. Because you've done fuck all, Satan.
So you're trying to make me fucking get mad?
Right, there's your two skulls. Can you see the difference?
You're trying to get me mad?
Can you see the two skulls?
So you're trying to improbe me to get me mad?
Right, get out. Get the fuck out of me out. Get out! Now! Fucking move!
Oh.
Get out!
I'm just asking questions.
If I put these... Get the fuck out of my house! Out me fucking house! Now! Out!
I'm just...
Get out!
Punch.
Get out my fucking house!
Punch.
Demon!
Punch. I'm going. Let me get me by.
Get out! My fucking house! No! Fucking demon!
Pete, are you okay?
Yeah, he got out of my house. He blocked the door and he pushed me twice in my own house. Self-defense. He's lucky I didn't slit his fucking throat. He's rang the police on me, guys.
For what?
I attacked him. He won't get out of my house. My son's here. That's why he wanted me to turn the sound off. That's why he wanted me to turn it off. That's why he wanted me to turn it off so he could do that. My son's here. He told me that he believed in Satan and I asked him to leave and he wouldn't leave.
Did the knife touch him? Did you hurt him with the knife?
I only grazed him. I didn't stab him. I'm not stupid. But he won't get out of my house. My son's here. What am I supposed to do? Self-defense.
Hi, I don't know what to explain it as. I had a gentleman around my house and he was refusing to leave and he attacked me in my own house. Less than 5-10 minutes ago. I asked him politely and then I started swearing, telling him to fuck off out of my house because my child's in the house. I felt threatened. He was threatening in my home. And then when I tried to get him to leave, he grabbed me by the throat. What the argument? He wouldn't leave the house. He wouldn't leave my house. I asked him. He said that he believed in Satan.
Is that him talking to the cop?
I asked him to leave my house, you know.
With one of the neighbours across the road, but I've got a feeling the neighbours were also, I don't know if there was part of it, but I feel like they've been watching me. You know, I've lived here over 2.5 years and this woman, whenever she sees me, she just glares at me and I've got no idea, but that's who he stood up. He's called an ambulance, so. The police are here now. Yeah, they are. Come in.
Have you recorded it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Have I met you somewhere before?
I don't know, mate. What's your name?
Craig.
Craig, I'm Pete.
Where did you used to live?
On Ainsley Street I used to live.
I know right where from. So what's happened today?
He came in the house. I told him not to come yesterday and he said, I'm going to come, we're friends. And when he came, he was all smiley and giggly and I let him in. He said, can I make a cup of tea? He made a cup of tea. And my son was upstairs and we were sat here talking and he said, I'm your friend. I said, look, I don't like the beliefs you have. He said, look, I believe in Satan, you believe in God. And I said, I want you to leave. I asked him 3 times, it's recorded. I said, please, I didn't say please, I told him, get out of my house. I wasn't mad with him, Craig.
Okay, yeah.
And I said, I wasn't mad with him. And then he wouldn't leave. He said, I'll leave when I've had this cup of tea.
Right.
And then I was worried for my son, who was upstairs. And I did shout, it's all recorded, I shouted, get out the house. And he was sat here, look, there's the cup.
Yeah.
He stood up here and I was sat there and he was just glaring at me in my own house. And I started screaming, everyone was listening. It's been recorded. And he got to where you are, Craig, and he turned back again. And he put his arm up and grabbed me by the throat and I pushed him into that door and he wouldn't leave, whoever you are. He had his arm on the door in my house.
Okay.
And I screamed again, get out my house, and he wouldn't leave.
Right.
And then I went through there, the knife's there, Craig.
Yeah.
And the pedal of the bike got stuck on the door.
Right.
And I wasn't looking. I was this angle going like that. And when I looked, it just saw his arm coming in, Craig, and I went like, all I did was that.
No worries. Where's your son now?
He's next door, Craig.
Alright, no worries.
And the knife's just.
Where's the knife?
Just on the side there, Craig.
Right, you stay here, mate. Just stay away from the knife. Right.
Okay.
Right, in relation to it, obviously he's made an allegation, Peter, that you've attacked him with a knife.
Right, okay, Craig.
Right, and as a result of that, you're going to need speaking to.
Yeah, that's
right.
fine.
Down at the station.
Yeah.
Okay. So in a minute, the officer's going to obviously deal with their bit. All right.
Yeah. All right, mate. At this current moment in time, we'll make it official. You're under arrest for Section 47 assault.
Okay.
You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence.
Yeah.
Okay. And the necessity for your arrest is prompt and effective investigation by way of interviewing, and also to prevent further harm to yourself.
Of course.
Okay. Put your hands out.
Of course.
And that one round.
Wow.
Wow, eh? That's heavy going, isn't it, to listen to?
Mm-hmm. I hadn't heard the second part before.
What, where he's arrested?
Right.
Right, it is. I think our police were actually quite nice.
They were.
Mm-hmm. It's just another day, isn't it?
I imagine how that would have been if that had been American cops. I just don't think it would have been the same. But I guess first I should try and justify playing that, because I guess from an ethical standpoint, what I just did was kind of dodgy. The reason I justify it is because I think that Poncho broadcast this. He knew he was broadcasting it. It was very deliberately broadcast. I think that's evidenced at the beginning when he's saying, right, let me go through it one more time. You know, he's putting on a show, and his show was the show that we often see, the show that we see with Nathan, and the show that we see with Del, where the host bullies and uses the fact that they control the hangout, you know, to bully and humiliate guests, and I think Poncho was doing that, and so I think that it deserves to be played. So that's how I'm justifying it. Anyone else have any thoughts on it? Somebody must.
Well, obviously, I've taken objection to some of this being sort of put out there. I don't have really a problem with, you know, he broadcast that himself. There's other things to do with it that I had more of an issue with, but which I won't talk about here because it's not actually relevant. But the thing is like, he's obviously completely crazy. I know, like, a lot of people are saying, well, they think he's lying because he said one thing and another thing, but I think what really came down to is his belief was challenged sort of to the core there by the guy just saying you need to sort of get on with your life. You know, maybe all this stuff's true, maybe it's not, but you can't let it control you. And it really hurt him. I think that's what it was. I think it was a genuine reaction because he's surrounded himself in all this sort of craziness, and he's just, you know, he's just snapped when he's been challenged.
But are you dismissing the fact that he was telling this man, this friend of his, that he had demons inside of him, and that he thinks that all, you know, men are really women and women are really men, and he hasn't seen a real woman in 45 years? You're dismissing all of that just because somebody told him they don't believe that The Rock is a female?
Was it The Rock?
That was The Rock. Yeah, I should have said that. You can just hear it in the background. It is The Rock they're referring to at that point. Yeah.
The Rock.
That's what triggered this. It wasn't. I think that you're giving him a lot of credit. Now, you might know him. I don't know him.
I don't know.
But I think you're giving this a lot more padding, if you will, to why he reacted this way about his life view or his religion, whatever it might be, was touched or challenged. I think he was challenged on The Rock's skull size. That's all.
Well, you know, the point where he explodes, where he absolutely explodes, is where he's brought up the male and female skulls, and he's going, can you see the skulls? And Jez just, I don't know, I can't remember what he says in response, but he just doesn't buy into that. And then Poncho asks him again, and again he doesn't buy into it. And I think at that moment, Poncho realizes that he's not going to play the transvestigation game, and his show is not going to happen in the way that he wanted it to. And then he just, he just sees red, doesn't he? I mean, he just explodes. But that seemed to be what tipped him over the edge, was when the guy just wasn't going to play his game. And
exactly.
And of course, in his hangout, you have to do that, you know. I mean, some of these people were sending him pictures of themselves, you know, so that he could transvestigate them.
Well, at the beginning of that clip, wasn't he referring to one of the girls on his panel.
Right, that was the
Yeah.
girl. You did hear a speech. She said, "Are you okay, Pete?" or something like that. But yeah. And she actually during that sequence, because it's actually that 10 minutes came from about an hour and 20 minutes. But during that sequence, after he's done the attack and he's sort of lying there panting because he's out of breath for ages, like really out of breath. And you can hear him sort of panting away in the background. And she starts getting out her photos and telling him her life story. Here I am in the army, and here's my baby, and it was very odd.
She must be in love with this guy or something.
Well, I think they're just desperate to stay in his gang, you know.
It's their group they hang out in, isn't it? It's their
Right.
friends.
They want to be, and that you know, that's another bully tactic that I've seen before, where they'll, you know, reject people in order to get them to sort of pay homage. I mean, the guy, you know, this is literally a 45-year-old man talking to a man of similar age, you know, in his living room, saying, "Drop your pants." I mean, you know, how far gone do you have to be?
I've had a lot of messages throughout the years in my message boxes here and there, asking for pictures. I've never heard one directed towards proving myself to be a female, but this is sure to come. I'm sure of it.
The trend is
I think we should definitely do. We could do that next week, actually, Twit. We could do the transvestigation of you.
Okay, fair enough.
You know,
that could be the feature item next week.
We could draw probably a pretty good crowd for that one.
There's supposedly, you know, I mean, he has a son, so he made the right judgment call at least once. I'm just gonna push that forward.
I would like to bring up something that I don't think anybody else has spoken about. Jim, did I miss it? Did we miss the part where his son was trying to talk to him?
I took anything involving his son out of it.
Okay. Well, I would like to point out that anybody that did hear the full thing where his son was talking to him, his son sounded to be way more sane than him. Like his son was actually trying to be the adult there. Be like, Dad, like you don't attack him. Come on.
Right.
So at least there's some hope there.
And I felt that
it's not hope though, is it? That's the thing is that that's what's to be expected. This guy is crazy, and he's having to put up with that, and it was actually heart wrenching to see the way he reacted to it. But I just, you know, I don't think anyone should watch it or pay any. I think that's the part we need to keep out of this, because that was quite sensitive, that part of the video. I think.
I think me and you disagree on that. I don't think that censoring these things is the best.
Yeah, but you see, like, he can broadcast what he likes, but the son doesn't choose to be broadcast in something that is quite.
I'm not saying it should be in this. I'm not saying it should be in this, but I don't think we should not talk about it.
Yeah,
I definitely don't think censoring things like this is the right idea. I think that you need to kind of show these things and say this is the result of just paranoid type thinking. Like that's why it's dangerous.
Well, I mean, there's a couple of points that I would make. First, on the son, I think that he very quickly started to use the fact that his son was there as an excuse for his behaviour. And at one point, if you listen to the whole thing, his son actually comes downstairs and takes the dog out or something like that. And in doing so, he passes Jez and he says hello to him, because he obviously, you know, he knows him, that, you know, or they've at least met before. And Jez says hello to him, and they're all very friendly, and it's all fine and dandy. And then he takes the dog out, and then he comes back. But there didn't seem really to any reason for Pete to be saying that he, you know, he's worried for his son, and my son's in the house. What was I supposed to do? I think that was bullshit, and I think he very quickly got to the bullshit. The other thing I would say is he didn't. You know, you notice at no point did he mention to the police anything about transvestigations, or you know, announcing publicly to the world that he thinks that this friend Jez is actually a woman, which is what he'd been doing in the days previous to this. So, you know, he straight away said it was about because he'd said he believed in Satan. And I believe in God, and he said he believed in Satan. Well, that's not true. Jez specifically said, I don't believe in Satan. He also said, I don't believe in Jesus. But he specifically said that. So, you know, he's pretty manipulative. And the final point I wanted to make was that I think that, you know, one of the problems that we see here is, you know, if we're saying that Pete is crazy or certainly has some mental health issue, one of the things that I think has made it worse is he's surrounded by all these people who, you know, when he says, oh, this person's really a woman, they go, oh, very interesting, that really resonates with me, or some bullshit like that. You know, he's constantly being validated by these people around him, and when really he needs people to be saying, what the fuck are you on about, you deluded nut? See a doctor, you know?
Yeah. It's dangerous to stay in these echo chambers for them all. And you see, that's what I was saying. It's happened. I know you see it as being dishonest, but that is a genuine freak out when you stab someone. Do you know what I mean? Like that, in that way. That's where the panting comes from as well. That's the genuine, like, he has just had an insane breakdown. And, you know.
Or he's just out of shape.
Yeah, I know people would say that, but if you have a something like that happen, where the adrenaline flows like that, you will be panting, and you will, you know, the behaviour does seem like someone who is like, what the hell has just happened? And yeah, he's lying to get himself out of trouble. That's also not too, you know, that's like not too understandable, if you see what I'm saying. So he's just fudging it a bit because he's, you know, he knows he's done wrong.
Something that he said in there was, sorry, Kat. He said when he was talking to the police, he was saying, he was describing to them what he said and the order of events. He was saying, I told him to leave my house, or there was a way that he phrased it, and then he changed it and said, no, I told him to get out of my house. And that shows that he's cognizant that the story that he's telling them needs to look a certain way, and it needs to be reflected to a certain degree in the footage.
Yeah.
But it's not. It is so far.
He also says, I said, please get out of my house. Then he corrects himself and says, no, I didn't say please. I asked him to get out of my house. And to be fair to Pete, he did ask him to get out of the house multiple times, many times, more than 3. I think Pete says I asked him to get out 3 times, but it was probably more like 7.
Well, he asked the demon to get out.
Well, yeah. So, yeah. An unfortunate incident. Actually, I mean, we should say that, oh gosh, I should have got the image ready and I forgot. But actually, the injury that Jez sustained from this was minor. He had a couple of grazes on his hand, basically. It wasn't anything. So, and he didn't press any charges against Pete. Pete was out again a few hours later. He was back home, but then he did shut his channel down, and I don't know why that was.
Who did?
Poncho did.
Oh.
Is it back now?
Well, what he said to him did cut to the core, didn't it? That's why he got the reaction he got, because that really cut him to the core. Because he said, it was, you know, it's wasting his life. You know, maybe everyone is a tranny. You know, what are you going to do? Sit here and cry about it on the internet for the rest of your life?
It is obvious that Pete cared an awful lot about this whole thing. He said, this is about my relationship with God. Like, he believes that what he is doing is the most important thing that he could possibly be doing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we can move on.
Yeah.
But think of it this way. I've always thought, bonus, right, that like at least like Hangouts and all that, they're all getting hyped up, but it's like it's taking stress off the NHS for, like, you know, daycare for some people, because anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe a bit mean, sorry.
Let me say hello to the chat, because we're a good way into the show. So Good evening to Sean G, Flat Earth Questioner, Alex Quant, Stabby Crabby, Charlie, Cat Earth, of course, Nega Please, XX, Twit, Bob Nodell has the IQ of a corn dog mongo. Good evening to you. Lenny Harry, Arwyn's Healer, The Rig, JJ, Lewis, of course, M Stone is with us, Shroomy, shout out to Shroomy. Captain Bullshit's here. Good evening, Captain Bullshit. Dan Palladino, good evening. Good to see you again. Cynthia, hi, how are you? The Rig, good to see you. Ads with us, good evening. Al K. Amanico Stone is with us, good evening. I'm getting there, guys. Gosh, I'm not. I'm right near the top still. Bear with me. Who have we missed?
Hey, Jim.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Twit.
Proprietor is here, and he has a message. He wants you to get a life.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I'll try and do that. Proprietor.
Thanks for your support, Proprietor.
I remember him.
Be sure to hit the thumbs up, Proprietor.
I think he was in the atheist Christian debate. I think. Where did it get to? Cigarface. Hi, Cigarface. I'm glad you're back to not enjoy our show. He said he didn't like it last week. Blue Nigger is with us, with an A, I might add. Let's see, I'm getting there. Does that say Pete Shea, or is that somebody else? Pete Shea Encore. Even better than Pete Shea. It's Pete Shea Encore. Ping Pong is with us. Good evening, Ping Pong. And I'm right down. I'm nearly there, guys. Sorry to do this. Validation Boy, of course. How could we forget? Where did you get that message from, Proprietor, then? Oh, Trillian's with us. Hi, Trillian. Good to see you. Sorry, I cut you off.
You're going to ban him, Jen. slap the ban hammer on this fool, I reckon.
Right, shall we have something else? What have we got next on my list? Oh, I know. Now then, I've got some bad news for the audience.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's over, guys. The Flat Earth Encyclopedia is released.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, the Flat Earth Encyclopedia and Database is now released, and the argument's over.
I've been dreading this for a long time, Jim.
What will we do now?
Where will we get our money from? The agency getting shut down, Jim? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we're unemployed.
Here's Southern Israelite to tell us all about it. Oops, forgot the sound.
Finished my final work on the Flat Earth issue. I have put anywhere from 350 to 400 hours into this over the past month, and I am now finished with it. I have laid out the entirety of my work on the Flat Earth issue for free, and I've coded every drop of this raw. Every paragraph, every grammatical point in the entire document I had to code individually. This was a massive undertaking. It's consumed my life over the past month. It's about 1,000 pages or more of research. From what I understand, this is the first major database that has ever been produced that actually gives attention to all of the issues of the Flat Earth debate. Goes into excruciating detail, and I'm sure there's probably a few grammatical or spelling errors in this. It's a massive undertaking, and I only get a few $100s a month from my supporters for this, so I don't have money to hire a professional editor. And probably the only stuff that's linked to my blog, which you have to pay for, is the stuff in the conspiracy section. Everything else I've given away for free. I go through my section on gravity is the definitive work ever produced from a flat Earth position against gravity. Pretty much, it's the definitive work against gravity ever written, ever. That's just a fact. Orbital mechanics, the whole physical structure of the heliocentric model, completely refuted. Every last stitch, every little syllable out of their mouth, I take a intellectual flamethrower to. I have done the work on math from the flat Earth perspective. No other flat earther has ever done anything like this. I've laid it all out. No one can answer anything I'm saying. I now rest in my accomplishments in my life. This has been about 20 years now of me just basically giving up my whole life to find out what the truth is. And I got it, man. I mean, this is the platform. I mean, this is the platform for the future. You guys have all the information you need. I have done my patriarchal duty to my people. As far as like gaining intellectual accomplishments, I'm done with that. It's done. I'm giving up my youth for this, and I've accomplished way more than what we need for a whole new nation. And you young guys who've been following me, y'all can finish up where I left off, because I'm done. I am so far ahead of everybody. I feel no reason to. I have solved all the major problems of our civilization, and I don't see any reason to go any further right now in this time period in the history of the world, in this time in my life. So, hope y'all enjoy this. I want some ass kissing in the comments of this video. God damn it. I want ass kissing. I worked my ass off for y'all, and I gave this all to y'all for free. So I want some donations at my PayPal. I want some Patreon action going on, at least in time. All right. I worked my ass off for y'all to have a complete platform and an answer to this whole debate. And I laid it all out for you for free. You can take all those documents that are on there, and you can just bludgeon the faces in of your enemies now with this. This is like a freaking nuclear warhead that you have at your disposal whenever you want to launch it at your opponent from now until the internet goes down or whatever. I mean, anyway, I'm going to go make some cash. Southern Israelite signing off.
There's so much there.
You need to post that. Have you posted the link to the website, Jem?
It is in the description. Yeah, it's down the bottom and towards the bottom of the description. You'll find it.
Please, just everyone go on it.
I might have just
down
done his channel. Let me just get. Actually, I'll post it in the chat.
Post it in the chat. Yeah. Everyone go on it and scroll down. Just start scrolling. Scroll and scroll and scroll.
He clearly did a lot of good work on putting that together.
Well,
yeah, I mean, well done.
But would it be filed under fiction is what we need to know.
But the thing is, I mean, the first thing that I didn't. I mean, what he says is that he coded it raw. And I mean, it does look like it was made in 1992. You know, it's very got that sort of HTML look about it. But what he's done is everything that you saw, all those links down the side, it's all one page. So when you go to it, the whole thing loads, all the graphics for everything on the site loads all together. And all those links do is jump you to the spot on the page. It's like 10 squeeze pages added together, you know.
And that took him 20 years?
Yeah, probably. That's when he started 20 years ago.
He said he'd spent 350 to 400 hours on it. He said he'd done it in the last month, and he said he'd given up his youth for it. So I'm not.
I don't think
he
might be exaggerating slightly.
But he made some big claims about it, didn't he? You know,
brilliant.
He sounds like he has a savior complex, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Didn't you read some choice bits off it, didn't you, Lewis?
Oh yeah, if you go to this website, right up next to the top here, he has a bunch of words and he defines them. And it's...
read a few out just while I get
All right.
queued up.
A definition for authority: authoritarian. That is the complete definition of authoritarian, and then there's a parenthesized caveat. Conspiracies happen, but are compartmentalized. There are always good authorities to appeal to when others are corrupted. Why he has this authority, no one knows. Why is this necessary to define? It doesn't matter. We'll probably find out further down the page.
He needs to put a hyperlink on that part to his Patreon. That'd be brilliant.
Absolutely, that's right. Hey, you're so right, Kat. That's what he needs to do. He's got another good one on here: epistemology, rationalism. Human reason is grounded in innate genetic structure. There is no soul.
Wow.
What?
Right?
What does that mean?
That's what epistemology means, Jem. Didn't you know? Force, the breath of life.
So he might say that he's strong with the Force.
That's right. Oh. I could find a few more on there if you like. Well, but
no, it's okay.
Yeah.
Look, there's some bugs in the website. He's got some things to work out, a few kinks, a few things to update.
But I don't know why. I mean, why wouldn't he just get like a WordPress template or something? There's loads of nice free ones around.
Yeah, but he started 20 years ago. He gave up his youth for this.
I think he should add an urban dictionary type thing aside so he can give us more definitions.
Yeah, I like the definitions. They're good. So, shall we move on?
But first of all, before you move on, who is Southern Israelite? Because everyone's talking about him. We don't even know who he is.
Do you know what? I don't really know the guy. He's been on Non Sequitur, I believe. But I mean, Lewis, you've come across him a bit, haven't you?
No, actually, I haven't.
I saw him for the first time on Tim's channel. He was in Tim's chat. Tim was, going back and forth with him a little bit, and he had invited him to come on, and he was just really loud. He was hostile for some reason. There was no hostility prior to him coming on, and he just exploded and then left. So that was the extent of me running across this man. Just a brief hostile moment.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've sort of heard people talk about him, but never sort of come across him, really. But I thought that was interesting, his encyclopedia, he's called that. He's called it his encyclopedia/database.
Big up. Everyone subscribe to his Patreon or whatever, because the guy gave up his entire youth.
Yeah, so everyone kiss his ass, okay?
Yeah, pucker up. Get ready for it.
And fight your enemies with his HTML.
Yeah, his nuclear weapon of... Oh, what was it? His flamethrower of intellect or something. What did he say? Some bullshit, wasn't it? Oh, gosh. Right. We've got Arwijn going all Alex Jonesy.
Yes.
It's fun.
I love Arwijn. Big up Arwijn.
Here we go.
And not doing anything about it. That's the problem. But we got to take over. Not like militarily, but we got to take it over and replace the left. We have to replace the left. The left has gone insane. They're all madmen. They all want everything to die. We have to replace them. We have to take it back. We have to get the real environmentalism, alright, in which they made a part of them. We have to take it back, because now they're destroying everything, and we have to replace them. Not destroy them and let the right wing just crush it all in their crazy short-term methodology. We have to replace them and get a real left, sensible naturalism, real libertarian freedom, individualism, preserving nature. We have to get it back everywhere. It needs to get back and stop this social justice warrior Marxist crap. Stop it, you maniacs! Kill yourself, you freaking insane bastards!
Or change.
Get out of here! Not you, Hagrid. I'm just
No,
so sick of this.
I was talking to the public as well. Or change.
Get out of the way, you freaking maniacs! You want everything dead? Then kill yourself! Get out of the way! No more Marxism. Get rid of it! All of it! All of it! Wipe it away! In the trash can, in the void, in the abyss, away with it! Get rid of it! No more corporate reductionism! Get rid of it now! All of it! And if you can't, then kill yourself! If you can't do it, if you can't be sensible, then kill yourself! Get rid of yourself! Remove yourself and make room for somebody that can! That's my message.
Okay, I wouldn't mind going first.
Go ahead.
Okay. He's clearly very passionate. As an American libertarian, and I have been for quite some time, I don't know if you know where we. I guess I have to say I agree with a lot of things he says.
Kill the left!
Except for maybe I wouldn't go as far as to kill yourself, because that would kind of violate the NAP principle. But yeah, he's just got a lot of excess buildup, and he needs to
wipe it away.
It was a bit, leave corporate reductionism alone! Don't you think, you know? Bit like, leave Britney alone.
You guys are being awfully nice.
Yeah,
Well, I wonder
very
what
nice.
I wondered what Twit's take would be on it, because I know that I knew her politics were sort of, let's say, in that direction. So I thought that'd be interesting to hear.
I think that everybody should be libertarian. I think that's the way we should all be. I just don't recommend killing yourself, though. that might be an option.
That wasn't libertarian right there. I'm sorry. He does not speak for libertarians. Libertarians are do whatever you want to do with your life. You can do whatever you want to do as long as you don't infringe upon my rights. That's fine.
As long as you don't run for government.
That's not what he was doing. That's not what he was doing. He was like, that was some straight Marxism stuff right there. Let's just,
I
you
think
don't agree with me? Go kill yourself, you oxygen thief.
I think he's got himself into the trap, hasn't he? It's like you say, it's the perfect Alex Jones trap. He's just got, because probably what he says isn't wrong. Sometimes I want to kill some of these lefties. I want to strangle them. But, like, you know, I don't go on stream and stuff. Kill the left or kill yourself.
Well, you know, the thing with Arwijn, though, is that he is also trying to make his channel successful. And his role models, if you will, are some, some rather outrageous types of personalities. One being locally Nathan, and the other one being Alex Jones. He is a fan of Alex Jones. So these are both guys who, or we think they're guys who get really loud and say things like that, say bad things about people, talk about things that normal people don't talk about in a passionate way live on air. So that's his role model. So he's trying to emulate that to some extent, I'm sure, to get the views.
I wonder if he listened to our critique when we played the clip of him, a couple of weeks ago, and I said, you know, he needs to be more interesting and entertaining. Seems to be obliging in that regard.
I've always found him
since I think he's the first flat earther to make it onto the show twice.
Shout out to Arwijn.
Yeah, hey Arwijn. I think there were a few moments where he was getting really heated, and he would pause like really briefly, and you could see in his eye like complete insincerity. Like he knew that he was just trying to make it dramatic, but also feel real. Like he knows the audience he's trying to play up to.
I know what you mean.
There's actually a bit in the middle of it that I had to take out to make it work, where you just see him look to the corner and he goes, "Oh, sorry, kitty."
Oh,
because his cat's frightened.
Oh, that was sweet.
You put that in, Jem.
I know, but it kind of had to go. It was supposed to go on the end. I thought, well, I can tag it back on the end, and I forgot, and it was rendered then and too late.
It would have gone well after a kill yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, bless
well,
his
he's fun
cotton
though.
socks.
I mean, you know, it's entertaining, isn't it? And I don't think that was nuttiness. Or even I think when we played that clip before and he was on about his 1,000 subs, I think he was genuinely really frustrated and having a bad day. Whereas this, I think, was a performance, really.
Yeah, I think like what Lewis says, like he's quite manipulative, in a way. He's just not very good at it, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? But he's definitely, you can see him try and do it.
He's learning his craft, isn't he?
Yeah, it just makes you like him more. You're like, oh, bless him.
And I think Twit makes a good point. I think he is copying Nathan to some extent, as you know.
Nah, he needs to call them morons.
And probably Del, and Del.
He could be rubbing off on him though, because when they're all shouting. Sorry.
No, that's go ahead. I was just gonna say Arwijn's unique, very unique in his self, but no, he's not. He's pretty smart too, because he knows what to do to captivate an audience, or what he thinks he has to do to captivate the audience, because he is looking for this to be his income, his profession. So. I mean, we all look to the people who are successful in whatever business we're in to emulate.
Right.
So you can't really blame them.
Twit's obviously a big Arwijn fan.
It's the mustache.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Because you have a thing for mustaches, don't you?
I do like guys with mustaches.
I might grow one. Although I'd probably look gay if I had one. I think Arwijn looks like his eyebrows have popped down for a drink. It's not much of a mustache. It's a bit of Rhett Butler, isn't it?
No, it's filling out nicely, Jem. It's filling
Rhett
out
Butler
nicely.
in Gone with the Wind. Shall we have one more clip?
Come on, one more clip. Do it.
I've got some Del. Del's doing his his new thing is Euclidean geometry, and he's basically wandering around the University of Scotland, picking random students who are doing a degree in stagecraft or something, and then being gobsmacked that they haven't heard of Euclidean geometry. Anyway, he almost sort of bites off more than he can chew with these three guys that we're about to see, and we're doing sort of the tail end of his encounter with them, and I was kind of I was running out of time today, so I just took one big chunk and didn't bother to edit it. But so it's a few minutes long. It's not too long.
But it's the juicy parts, right?
But yeah, it's a good bit, because they even though they don't know the sort of flat earthy arguments, they do see the flaws in Del's logic. They make the sort of arguments I've tried to make to Del. Anyway, I'll shut up and let's have a watch, shall we?
So what I'm trying to establish is the shape of the Earth.
I know.
So-
The argument being, okay, can we boil this down? Okay.
I understand.
Can I say one point, please? Can we boil it down to you don't believe in a round Earth because it cannot be proven to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, by extension, you haven't been proven lots of things. You haven't been proven how the electrons work going back to that. You haven't been proven that.
That's not my point, no.
No, that is your point. Your argument is you don't believe in something because it can't be proven to you. So you shouldn't believe in anything else except for what you can see right now. You've not seen electrons. You've not seen
I don't believe in just what I can see either.
But then why have you picked the Earth to be the one thing you decided you don't believe in, and you believe in other stuff that you've been told are true?
Because
why have you picked that?
You're just putting words in my mouth and talking about stuff that I've not even stated.
I'm not putting a single word.
When you watch this back, you're going to see how ridiculous your
I
views
would
are.
actually love you to send that to me. But I would
you can go to the site and you can watch it, but you're being totally ridiculous.
No, so can I ask you, right? So you do not believe in the flat Earth. So you believe in the flat Earth?
I don't know what the full dimensions of the Earth
You don't
are.
believe in the Earth being circular?
The Earth's demonstrably
because
level.
It cannot be proved to you.
The Earth is demonstrably level.
You cannot be proven to you.
It's been measured.
Okay, but you do not believe in a spherical Earth because it cannot be proven to you.
It's
correct?
not real.
It hasn't been demonstrated to you.
Pseudoscience.
See, now you're saying you're having a discussion and then you're stating facts here and not saying discussions. You're giving it to me for
the
making
world of
statements.
construction and navigation shows you beyond any shadow of
How do you
doubt.
go around in a circle? How do you go from here all the way back around going through America?
Circumnavigate?
Yeah, how do you circumnavigate? So you believe you go around on the edges of the Earth?
I just circumnavigated you.
Okay, so you believe, what do you believe is at the edge of the Earth? Can you fall off? You don't know.
Don't know.
So
I don't use fallacious reasoning. I don't make assumptions or claims to know things I don't know.
So okay, going back to that then, you can't, how do you know electrons are real? How do you know that?
It's nothing to do with me. You use electrons to prove the globe. Use electrons to prove the
My
globe.
argument being is you accept some things but accepting other because you want to.
Is it demonstrable? Can it be measured and quantified?
I'm going to get anywhere. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
See, it's fallacious because you're using something that's not relevant.
What I'm trying to think this could go on for. This could go on for a while.
Well, this is just good to highlight this though, because then I can break it down. So you're welcome. Look, Gav came here. He was a university student here. He's an honours graduate in maths and physics. He lives in Germany now. He's in his 50s. He's on the podcast every Saturday. It'd be great if you want to come and speak to him because he'll break it down for you as well.
I would like my chance to research into this because I'm not.
You do that.
Yep.
You do that.
I was even at that. An interesting discussion.
So the mathematical axioms that are being used are attached to real world substance. Okay.
Yeah.
The Euclid's principles. If you get Euclid's elements, that's what it's about. Okay, so that's what we use in the real world that does not concern itself with curved surfaces.
The thing is, we've just talked about how that doesn't apply because Euclidean principles does work for curves. Like,
listen,
what you're saying isn't true.
See, in the world of construction, we understand plumb and level. Let me finish. Okay. So if we start here and I build plumb and level, okay, from my first point, as I build out this is going to drop away from my construction. That's what would happen with the Earth curving away from me, but it doesn't happen.
On a massive
Can you actually
scale,
prove that?
I'm not
Because I
saying
haven't.
like a mile or two. I'm saying
Can I ask that?
Would you agree if the Earth's a ball, there must be curvature?
Can I ask?
Okay. But if it's not there in the real world and it's not being accounted for, would you say there's a problem?
Going back to the demonstration thing, have you seen a bridge a mile long with no curves? Have you gone out and measured, got a bridge and built a mile long over water?
Over water?
Yeah, and have you gone and done that yourself and demonstrated to you?
I've demonstrated how water behaves numerous times. I've made a scientific prediction and I've tested it and I've measured it.
You're asking for demonstration thing. You're saying right now that if you were to build a bridge a mile long, I still haven't looked at the argument, I'm still not entirely sure the truth of it, but you're saying your argument is right now, you build a bridge a mile long, you won't see the 8 inches. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Have you seen that yourself?
What do you mean?
Have you gone and demonstrated that to yourself?
It's construction every single day. But nobody accounts for a curve in Earth.
Have you demonstrated that to yourself? Have you followed your demonstration
Look,
principles?
you're getting emotional again. Just calm down.
I'm asking
calm down.
I'm getting annoyed because you're not answering my question.
Because you're putting crap in my mouth. You're bringing up irrelevant, illogical points continually.
Your entire argument is based on you want demonstrable facts, and then you bring up this stat.
It's a demonstrable fact that water does not curve at all. Okay, there.
Yep.
So you demonstrate me how it does.
You're getting emotional.
Well, I'm just doing the same to you.
Okay, but,
to make a point.
But water itself is individual particles, and they don't bend because they're
demonstrate that it can curve.
But we're not saying that water curves. We're saying that gravity.
It must curve if it's on a ball. Listen, it would have to have an elasticity on the surface to make it bend.
Water actually has elasticity. Van der Waals forces and stuff like that.
So you could bend a swimming pool and it would bend and it would display the bend on the swimming pool.
Well, it's just like a ridiculous argument.
How? That's what they're telling you. So tell me what happens at scale. What new property goes into the water that now allows it to bend?
Because there's no bend on that and that. You're not going to see a bend that's measurable. It's on.
Well, it's no science. If it's no measurable, it's no science.
It is measurable from space.
You want to argue with a flat
picture?
Jan, come here, Jan. Please,
nice misrepresentation. So, Nice misrepresentation. This is great to show the religious doctrine and the religious behaviour that comes from people.
What religion doctrine?
Well, that's religious culty behaviour that's going on right now. You have not even got the ability of an objective conversation with me.
I'm asking.
You're continually throwing illogical
I'm
nonsense.
getting emotional. Can I clarify why I'm getting emotional?
Go
Because
for
you're
it.
not answering questions. You're saying I'm putting words in your mouth. I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay, you asked for demonstrational proof, and then I ask you, have you seen demonstrational proof that shows the Earth is flat? And you don't provide that either.
I've provided it. You watch this back. You just don't understand. The problem is you're talking from ignorance.
Okay, it was nice to
You're
talk.
talking from
It was
ignorance.
nice to speak.
I hope that you can come back and realise what you've done.
I will realise that I'm still correct.
Beyond the imaginary curve.
What's the
Beyond
podcast?
the imaginary
Beyond
curve.
the imaginary curve.
Yep. And listen, there's nothing personal for me. No offence, guys. So when I break it down, you'll have the opportunity to come and speak anytime you like. And you're representing this university. There you go. There's some of the problems we're facing.
And a fine job too you're doing.
That's brilliant.
Wow. Yeah, they got him. I mean, he just couldn't respond, could he? There, where the guy said to him, you know, have you seen that demonstrated? And straight away he was sort of, oh, what did he say? He said, he just insulted him, or he said you're getting emotional, and at that point the guy wasn't getting emotional. You know, he was just asking him if he'd had that demonstrated to him, and of course he hadn't. You know.
Well, that's just a defense tactic too. Of course, people are going to get emotional, but that doesn't mean they're wrong.
Right.
Have a guy that won't engage in actual conversation. Of course, we're going to get frustrated with him.
Yeah.
I thought he stayed really calm, actually. I thought it was brilliant. Sorry, Lewis.
Yeah. I thought they were remarkably calm. I don't think he should have even defended himself at that point at all. He could have just ignored that and kept going the way he was.
Right.
And I really like where that guy was coming from. It was, I don't know. It's interesting because they both stepped on each other's toes a little bit. Not that there was no way they were going to get through to Dell there. That wasn't going to happen. But
right.
I can't help but see that and think, well, maybe what if they'd said it this way instead of that way? Or
well, no, big up for them, Lewis, for realising it really quickly and just walking.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I mean, that was the tail end of they were 15, 20 minutes talking to him. You know, it was a good while.
15 or 20 minutes is a drop in the bucket compared to what some of us do.
Yeah.
Right.
But they were on the street going about their day.
Right.
We have nothing to do here.
He starts off by asking them if they've heard of Euclid of Alexandria or something. I think that's how he's referred to it. And then he asks them if they've heard of Euclidean geometry. And one of these had, which of course made it very difficult for him. So... yeah. Anyway,
the agency needs to hire them for disinfo agents. We need to get these guys on board. They're pro.
No, they need to stick to their studies and make productive use of their time. Okay, they're going to university. They have a future ahead of them.
Yeah,
I mean, I do too, and the rest of us do too. But they have a productive future.
Right. Yeah.
I think
they did rather quickly draw the correct conclusion that there's no convincing them.
Right.
Yeah.
I think if we all kind of operated under that, guys, then we'd waste a lot less time.
I agree.
Because we all know it's true, but then we all sit arguing with people for some reason. I don't know
because we're mental and we have to try.
We like to argue.
We're all just a little too crazy.
It's because people are wrong and they shouldn't be wrong.
Can't be allowed. It simply can't be allowed.
On the internet.
They should stop being wrong. Be correct.
I can't help but think that one day I will say something just the right way, and they'll be convinced.
Well, actually, your
I don't
footage
know
that
why
made
I think that is so stupid.
Well, no, your footage made me give up soundly at the beginning because after that I thought, oh, there you go, and then after that I was just like, oh, it's just pointless for me anyway.
You know what? I mean, that whole poncho thing. What rocked that whole apple cart was Jez came in my Discord server and we showed him Lake Pontchartrain, the Pontchartrain Causeway, soundly.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. That was,
and what do you think about it?
Because he was all, you know, he'd got his weapons from Poncho Pete. So, of course, his first thing was, show me bendy water. And, of course, out came all the, you know, the elevator animated GIFs and all the, you know, all the soundly material, the wall of information, of data that is soundly, and that was him pretty much done.
Did it actually make a positive impact on him? That's my question.
Because he was in Poncho's hangout and saying the next day saying, you should go in there. Poncho had a good conversation with those guys. And,
really?
And then a day after that, he was sort of, you know, he was back with us and having another conversation with us. And
day after that, Jim, he was demonized
and
saying
that he didn't know what the Earth was and this sort of thing. So, you know, you got a guy stabbed soundly. You can be proud of that.
Yes.
Don't blame this on me.
Well done, Stanley.
Can't help that he looks like a girl.
Small
He
head.
doesn't.
Just kidding.
You should see the guy. In fact, hang on. Let me show you what the guy looks like.
Kidding.
Let me show you what the guy looks like.
They're not
still bit of an insincere joke.
This is an interesting picture. Hang on. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this. Oh, here it is. Hang on. I can do it this way. Hang on. Okay. It should be. Hang on. Oh. That's the guy there, the one in the front there. It should be going out on the watch page.
The guy in the front?
Yeah, the one in the green and white. That's Jez.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And then the guy in the back, who looks like he's about to stab it.
Oh, God.
That is Poncho.
Wow.
Yeah,
Hey,
I don't see how you can mistake that for a girl.
That's because you've been looking at women your whole life.
Yeah, I suppose that's the problem.
I thought it was funny because you said I've got a small head. It's like, you don't have a small head, bro. Big head. But...
I know. I mean, I think he's got what you call a chiseled jaw, hasn't he? I mean,
yeah. He's got all the features of a man.
Right.
He's got all the features of an Irishman. That's what he's got. He looks like an
beard. Where's the beard? It's missing.
Yeah, but if they tranny you at birth, this is what I'm saying. You just don't know. They could be tranning you at birth.
I would know.
All right, you know, I'm starting to look at. The more I look at this image, the more I can see people drawing thought bubbles to each of them, and Poncho thinking all sorts of sinister things. Like, I wonder what's between his legs.
Oh.
Hang on, I can't see his Adam's apple, and his forehead to eyebrow ratio is like quite feminine.
That's Poncho's metric. He is the brow furrow or something. Some shit like that. I can't remember.
I used to love trolling IPS with that, but I don't think he'd seen the videos of that on him, so he never understood it. But I was like, your forehead ratio is very feminine. Oh dear. Big up Hans. Conspiracy by Hans. Go to Conspiracy by Hans. Watch his
wondering
fan, apparently.
Who is taking this image? Is this Poncho's kid that's taking the picture?
Well, this was actually in the Daily Mirror, a national newspaper here. And this was when Jez here was trying to place a bet in a bookmaker's that the Earth was flat.
Oh, that was Jez.
Yeah. And he phoned, like, I don't know, 10 bookmakers or something, trying to place this bet. And
I would have taken that bet.
And they won't take that bet.
Yeah, I guess not.
And so the paper came and did a story on this, that, you know, he was trying to place this bet and they wouldn't take his bet. And
free money.
My friend of mine runs a bookies, which is literally on the corner of the street I live in. And so I bumped into him one day, not long after this happened, and I told him about it, and I said, so why won't they take this bet? And he said, well, we can't take that bet because we aren't allowed to rip people off, and we can only take a bet that you have a chance of winning. We can't, if there's no chance of you winning it, we aren't allowed to take the bet.
Nah, that makes sense.
Right. So that's why they wouldn't take the bet. But I don't think that ever made it into the news story. Just that he'd phoned all these different bookies and they wouldn't take the bet.
That would have been like the cherry on the top of that news article. If they had just had one bookie saying that, well, the reason we can't take the bet is because there's no chance of them winning it.
Right.
Boom! That's when the screen cuts black. Ending credits.
Yeah, well, they would be in breach of gaming law, you see, if they took a bet that you can't win. So it's kind of obvious when you think about it, isn't it? But it wasn't that obvious when they were saying it. They think it was more fuel to the conspiracy fire when they were saying it.
So all the bookies are in on it,
huh? Apparently. Anyway, we're a good way over time again, which is good, I guess. So, anyone else got anything they want to say?
Yeah, I want to say. Sorry.
I just wanted to mention that no one commented on Dell's magnificent
navigation.
I can't speak.
Yeah.
I can't speak.
How many beers have you had, Twit?
A lady never tells. But he did the circumnavigation around the kids, and nobody even made a comment about that. He did it so well.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I've seen him do that.
I didn't
before.
make a comment, but I did start breaking down laughing right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the bit really where he's telling us, at that point, he's kind of signing up to a model to an extent, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Stuff has to be laid out in a roughly circular fashion in order for that circumnavigation to be able to take place. So he's kind of stuck with an A map or something along those lines, I think, once he does that.
Right, it would be the one that you have on the screen that happens to be that snapshot, right?
Right.
On the computer in front of Jazz and Pete.
Oh, right, yeah, it would be, yeah, something like that, I guess.
To my closing comment, I guess, would be in relation to Poncho Pete and people trying to emulate other people that they admire. Arwijn was trying to pretend to be Nathan. Well, Pete, I distinctly heard him say, "Get the fuck," and you know who that comes from.
All right, that's a Dellism if ever we heard one. Any more for any more?
Yeah, closing comment. Like, I think Arwyn's moustache is filling out very nicely, so be nice. And yeah, everyone big up, Flat Earth. Well done. You've got an encyclopedia now. It's very long.
Okay, well, before I round out the show, I'll say, at the end of this, I'm going to play the intro again, because I liked it and we fucked it up.
Yeah,
so
I won't fuck it. I'm going to mute right now.
when I stop talking and hit the intro, shut up, cat.
I'm muted. I'm muted right now. But I unmuted to say I'm muting now.
All right, then, to our audience, thank you once again for joining us. Join us again next week for another fabulous chunk of flatness. If you see something that you think should be included in the show, please post a timestamp link in the comments section of this video. Or join our Discord server. The link is in the description, along with channel links for tonight's panel. Our Discord server has over 1,100 members, and we manage to keep a conversation going virtually 24/7. We welcome members with opposing views, and sometimes we don't even call them names, although not often. So click the link and join us. Thanks again to tonight's fabulous panel, and thanks to all of you for watching. We will be back around the same time next week. So until then, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Have a great evening.
Good night, everyone.
You're misleading the public. You're lying to people.
We are part have a giant studio set. All the world's a stage in your mind.
Jesus Christ, can suck my dick. Suck my dick.
Suck my dick, Earth, with that bullshit.
Man's getting rude. Man's getting rude.
It could be a what's it? It could be an onion ring.
A hairless monkey zipping through the vacuum, or a potato rock.
Yeah, if we dumped what we found right now, we would be, it'd be bad. It would be bad.
Can't have a can't have a flat Earth and things making sense.